determined that they were just bugs. But as you heard, Jose's explanation was that it's just bugs emulating rods.
Yeah, imitation rods. It's fake rods.
Imitation rods.
Yeah, wannabe
He's
rods.
basically saying that.
Well,
And
I mean, they're emulating by just looking like the shape of a rod, right? He still thinks that rods are a real thing.
I guess, but
Yeah.
Art doesn't seem like he's going for it. Art seems to have jumped ship.
No,
Art is off.
If Jose sees him,
this rod.
Jose is out here like loving rods still. If he sees him, he's just
Sky News 9 in 1999.
Those rods are huge, man.
he loves big rods, and he's not giving up on rods anytime
Well,
soon.
look, but this is also.
Can't blame him.
You heard Art in that. That is a stark contrast to the Art we heard from that episode just a few years earlier. Play one of those recent Arts where he's like,
unblinking believable. I mean,
yeah, this website is unblinking believable in a different way. But you know what? This guy's the discoverer, the champion. Escamilla is not going to back down because of some fly-by-night website. So he fires back with this.
Let me tell you something. I said it's pretty damning, evidence there. But you have to look at what they're doing here. They're setting up a camera at night.
yes.
That means they have to set up a low shutter setting in order to capture anything that moves at night under extreme low light.
Right.
All right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Now, what is the biggest thing that I've always maintained? I've been on your show many, many times, many years. I've always said, look, I set up a shutter setting called the sky fishing protocol that eliminates insects emulating and birds emulating rods. If you shoot a low shutter setting, whether you shoot at night or during the day, you will get insects that will resemble rods. And
See, there it is. You see, according to him, if you aren't following the sky fishing protocol, do you guys know what the sky fishing protocol is?
Ah, yeah, totally. Who doesn't?
I thought so, but for the listener, I'm going to say the sky fishing protocol is to set a camera's shutter speed on high and film at daylight. If you don't do that, other stuff is just going to look like rods. And this has to suck for Jose. To be aware of a phenomenon, you work to prove that phenomenon, but for there to exist a way for that to be easily reproduced and dismissed as just bugs or birds or just crap flying around, it's got to be maddening. Like, it could be so easy, according to him.
Yeah.
It's not like you can accidentally get, confuse a UFO with like a cat if you just set a camera differently. Like, I think he truly believes in these things, but he has his own protocols, and if they're not being followed, he looks really foolish.
Yeah.
Well, what is the proper? I mean, for the listener, what is the proper?
It's the lighting. It's a big thing is the lighting, from what I could hear. It's
got to be daytime, and you got to have that shutter speed on high. So yes,
but that's it. So as far as protocol,
it's a sky fishing protocol.
Protocol. Come on,
that's it though. That's it. Okay, I have to get with it. You're right.
Well, if you're getting with it, let's see if Art can be swayed by this sky fishing protocol.
I set up the sky fishing protocol for one reason and one reason only. That's to eliminate the kind of websites that you're seeing right now. These guys are barely touching ground that I covered back in 1994, 1995.
Well, the part of it that I think rocked my world a little bit, Jose, were the pictures where they actually compared the photographs on RoswellRods.com to what they've got here. And some of them are simply, they're not close. They are rods. Or they're rods as you depict.
Whew. Damn.
Yeah, Art seems disappointed. I don't think he's buying the sky fishing protocol. Seeing him, this is like a beginning of a fall of a phenomenon. But this is only 2003.
Yeah.
Art sounds kind of pissed.
We have seen.
Art sounds kind of pissed. He's like, you've been lying to me.
You've been
lying to me for a long fucking time, and I'm
like,
kind of done with these rods.
I expected a little bit more integrity out of you, Escamilla. My bad.
Look,
he's pronounced it wrong.
He's got a protocol. I think Art can eventually be swayed, but as damning as this seems to the rod movement, imagine how Art feels though. He's the original champion of the rods, so let's hear how this is affecting him.
Well, there's been nobody that's been more of a booster of yours than me.
I know.
A big booster.
I know, and you know what? This is not fair for you, Art, because you know what? You haven't had my latest DVD. I need to send you this footage so you can see exactly what we've been talking about.
Well, no, but of course, as you well know, I've seen a gazillion rods and photographs and video footage that you've shot, and when I got down to this photograph that he presents called "They Are All Rods Now," I looked at it and I said, damn.
I know. That's what I said, too. I go, and when I talked to you last night, I go, Art, that's damning, evidence. But there's a thin line here.
Yeah, there's a thin line, according to Jose Escamilla, but not a lot of people, especially at this time, are seeing that line. That it was a sad clip, but I heard you laugh. Play the next soundboard. Soundboard 8, please.
As you well know, I've seen a gazillion rods, and
Of course.
Yeah, you have. See, he knows his rods, and that's why he wanted Jose to join him on that journey of just like, come on, let's. What do you mean? You don't want to go where? We've all seen a gazillion rods.
He's like, I've been showering at the gym for 10 years, and I've seen a gazillion rods.
And it's not a phenomenon.
Yeah, Jose, you've been showing me these things for years on the sly on the internet. I don't know if I should delete my history. I don't know. Where are we going with this now? Because you seem to let me down. And sadly, they just end at pretty much the same place that they started there. Art is left shaking his head, and Jose defends the case the best he can. And you can hear the turn in Art Bell here as this segment ends.
rods, real or not? Maybe not.
Ooh, for Art to do a little... Play that again. That you can hear it. I think the turn is there.
Rods, real or not? Maybe not.
Love how he's surprised.
So sassy.
He's so surprised by it. Like, maybe they're not real, actually.
And this is a few years later where he has become just the light to all the paranormal moths just flying around. He's got everyone in his corner already. And if you gotta just fling off a rod or two and go, no, because the other stuff we have is actually really good. We've got Mel's Hole. We've got JC. We've got all this other stuff. Jose might just be kind of just getting flicked off at the end. That's kind of sad.
Yeah, I mean, it's not anyone's fault though. It's like you got to call him like you see him and don't see him.
Yeah, this guy chose rods. Like, the rods didn't choose him. He chose rods to be his thing.
Him.
I kind of respect both of them for doing this. I respect Art for doing that. And Jose, hey, look, I think he's always been a true believer. I think he is going to just stick to his guns. He's like, well, I mean, I just have to work my way back and prove it. But despite this, a major setback, Jose's work continued. He had a production company called TBLN Films, where he created other documentaries, the classics, The Battle of Los Angeles and UFOs, The Greatest Story Ever Denied. So he branched out some, and he was part of many non-rod related UFO topics over the years. Despite branching out, though, he was still forever associated with rods, and his critics were just gearing up. Because as we discussed in our previous episode on this topic, episode 31, Flying Rods, which if you haven't listened to it, this would actually be a good spot to pause. Go back and listen to that, because this
would be a good spot to pause?
This is the perfect spot. This is the perfect spot because in that episode, we discussed when rods really hit the big time in 2008 on the show Monster Quest. And our episode was completely about that Monster Quest episode. We were not doing the history of anything. And Monster Quest was a fairly popular show at the time, and they devoted an entire hour of original television programming to showcasing and almost entirely debunking Jose and his rods. They pulled in experts of all kind to put the rods to the test. You remember people like Birder, Martha Ewell, Doctor Who, Mr. Wooton. Remember all those great minds?
About him.
All those great minds, great names of the time were all brought together. Birder, Martha Ewell. Right? Remember, they were just tasked with destroying this man's findings. And you know what? It worked. He received a ton of ridicule and skepticism, being the face of the rod phenomenon. He persevered, though, continuing to make just regular UFO-related documentaries. But at one point, I think he had enough. And I think I can pinpoint the exact moment when Jose Escamilla had enough. It was July 6th, 2013 at a UFC fan expo. During a Q&A with, you guys aren't going to believe this, Joe Rogan. Seriously.
Wow. Yeah, this guy should know a thing or two about rods.
At this UFC fan expo Q&A, Jose Escamilla is in attendance, and he steps forward to Joe Rogan to say this.
What's up, dude?
Hey, Joe. My name is Jose Escamilla. I'm a world-renowned filmmaker, UFO investigator.
Oh, you're that guy that had that Roswell Rods documentary. Yeah, that didn't work out so good.
No. Guess what? Do you
know what that is? Well, let's explain to people what it is.
Oh, God.
Okay, I don't I don't think that's the reaction he was expecting. What do you think Jose think was going to happen there?
Oh man, I think he was expecting him to not know who he was and be like, just so you know, I'm a big paranormal guy myself, and I got some stuff to talk to you about. But,
yeah. You're the Rods dude.
Everything. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, give props to Joe Rogan. This is 2013. He's like, yeah, I'm Jose Escamilla. He's like, you're the Rod dude. Rodswell. I know you. Hold on. Didn't work out so good for you. He rubs it in immediately.
People talk shit about smoking weed. He's got great memory for a weed smoker, Joe Rogan. That guy, he remembered that shit very well.
That is true. I will say that. Like, my coworker is constantly listening to Joe Rogan's podcast, and I will say the guy does have the attention span and, like, yeah, that kind of sharp mass memory where it's like, dude, you're high as hell right now. How are you staying on, like, so sharp on these things right now? It is impressive.
The way he winds up, though, like when you can feel him winding up, like he's pulling the bat back, like he's about to hit a home run right here. I can't wait to see what happens.
Oh, we'll play it again. Then let's hear it again, because I have something I want to say about it too, but I would like to hear it again.
What's up, dude?
Hey, Joe. My name is Jose Escamilla. I'm a world-renowned filmmaker, UFO investigator.
Oh, you're that guy that had that Roswell Rods documentary. Yeah, that didn't work out so good.
No. Guess what? Do you
know what that is? Well, let's explain to people what it is.
This is 2 weeks in a row where guess what is the thing. Guess what? Oh, you never got the answer. And I started thinking about it, man. This is almost like a very similar backstory to the Joker. If you're in Jose Escamilla's.
Oh no!
Oh my God! Oh, Russ, you had to
think
make
about
it to this.
He's just. It's enough to be, going on radio. You're not facing people. This guy is in a crowd bringing this up, and Joe Rogan is just pantsing this guy in front of everybody. This is not this. We said he had a great hero origin earlier. This is the turn here, and I can imagine. I'm sure Jose spent a few nights playing this over and over in his head. Play soundboard 9, please.
Oh, you're that guy that had that Roswell Rods documentary. Yeah, that didn't work out so good.
No. Guess what?
No.
In the sparse laughter of the crowd. Like, I can't even imagine what he's feeling in that moment, like as a human being in that moment. But it's about to get worse now as Joe Rogan proceeds to tear Jose a new rod hole.
Roswell Rods, this gentleman, I'm sure he's a very nice guy, made a documentary that I watched, and I was like, whoa, this is fucking crazy, where he was documenting all these things that are flying around us all the time that we don't see, these long, tubular, jellyfish-looking things that are flying at speeds that you can't see with the naked eye. And I saw this documentary, I'm like, that is incredible, that's amazing. And then a show called Monster Quest came along. And what they did is they set up 2 cameras. One of those super high-speed cameras that you use for, like, super slow-mo, where you see a guy get hit and spray flies. Well, they found out that what those tubes were just bugs.
Okay. Now, obviously, Joe Rogan has not been informed about proper Skyfish protocol. But neither is anyone else who's watched Monster Quest. So Jose, he's just left there looking foolish in the eyes of the public.
I was going to say, is there a camera on him this whole time?
There is a camera on Joe Rogan, not on him.
Of course,
I would not want to see. I could feel it, like even through the audio. His face he must be shattered right there, like
right. That's really not nice. He's not being very nice.
You know what? Joe Rogan's the sort of dude, he calls it how he sees it, and like he's not afraid to even do that in front of people's faces, and like he'll do that on his show sometimes, which creates these great conversations. But Jose walked into this shit.
Yeah, that's true. He had to have known what he was getting into, because he's been on Art Bell already talking about where Art Bell was disappointed in him, and you don't want to get that disappointed dad tone at you. And then you go on to Joe Rogan's thing, and you're going to expect him to be like what? Just completely.
This is the absolute worst place for Jose Escamilla to ever be saying his name, because he snaps immediately. But I'll give it to him. Instead of giving up, Jose stands in his truth, and he fights back by releasing a devastating debunking of Monster Quest's debunking of him. Yeah, Jose,
he debunks the debunking? Wow.
This Joe Rogan thing fired him up. He was not going to take this. So I'm just going to say it now. Give him heck, Jose.
Ever since I appeared on Monster Quest, I have been verbally attacked by people that hate me due to their viewing the episode on rods. I have received death threats, and my business has been greatly affected. I am setting the record straight once and for all, and I hope this film gets the exposure that Monster Quest received.
Like, whoa, this is fucking crazy.
Joe Rogan, this video is for you.
Yeah, you can get some too, Rogan, you muscle-headed dude.
for
you
you.
bully. Go do some curls or stick to